I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
Welcome to Deep Cuts, the podcast where we pick a topic and then walk you through the ins, the outs, and the nitty-gritty so that you can appear like an interesting and idiosyncratic person at your next forced social function. Today's topic is...
the Kentucky Cave Wars.
What were the Kentucky Cave Wars? Well, it was a fierce business rivalry in the early 1900s between competing cave owners around Mammoth Cave in south-central Kentucky. It involved sabotage, dueling, false advertising, and smear campaigns, and other cartoonish hijinks that resulted in a national park being established. But it will all go down in history as the most intense cave disagreement ever known to man. If you were rich in the 19th century and had a taste for adventure, there were a very good chance that your vacation might take you deep into the Kentucky hills to a place where the ground itself opened up and swallowed you whole. Not in a dangerous way, but in the walk through a mile-long cathedral chamber made of stone sort of way. Mammoth Cave was already famous before America had its first national park. It was, and still is, the largest cave system in the world, stretching over 400 mapped miles, with maybe hundreds more undiscovered. In the mid-1800s, wealthy travelers arrived by stagecoach, riverboat, and later train just to trek through this geological labyrinth. But for the poor Appalachian families who lived above it, Mammoth Cave wasn't just a natural wonder. It was a ticket to something rare in the region: real money. Visitors meant income, and income meant survival in a part of the country where rocky soil and geographic isolation made farming a rough trade. That's how, from the mid-1800s into the 20th century, a sprawling decades-long tourism industry free-for-all erupted as part of a marketing war, part land grab, part street corner con job. Known today as the Kentucky Cave Wars, it was fought with lawsuits, armed standoffs, fake policemen, sabotage, and at least one corpse in a glass coffin. The story of how the natural wonder turned into a battlefield says as much about human ingenuity as it does about human greed.
Have you been to many caves?
You know, in Arizona, there's one called Colossal Cave. We went there, I think, when I was a kid. I also feel like is there one called Carson Cave, maybe? In, like, either New Mexico or Arizona? I feel like we took a
Carlsbad Caverns.
Carlsbad Caverns.
Yeah, in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Carlsbad Caverns many a time. I went there when I was growing up in New Mexico, multiple times with my grandparents. And we went to the Carlsbad Caverns 3 years ago, I think, really? At this point. 3 years ago. I went there with my family, and we went much deeper than we ever did with my grandparents. My grandparents and my family kind of did the like tourist version of it, but me and my wife and the kids, we went like all the way down deep into the caverns and went all the way through them. But yeah, the Carlsbad Caverns, the fantastic caverns in Missouri, the Ape Caves in the Pacific Northwest.
That doesn't sound real.
Yeah, the Ape Caves in Oregon. I forget where in Oregon. But yeah, the Ape Caves. I went to the Ape Caves on the way up to Washington State with my wife. We didn't have kids at the time, and we go through this whole cave, and I'm enjoying it the whole time. It's totally cool. I was a little worried because it was kind of an impromptu stop, and I was wearing boat shoes.
So like, sounds about right for you.
So like, boat shoes are designed so you don't like slip around when you're on like a boat. They have like these particular types of soles that are designed for that. They're not designed for climbing through a cave.
Yeah, those are anti stalagmite repellents.
Yeah.
Or rather, I guess pro stalagmite, whatever. That joke didn't work.
Yeah. Either way, however funny you are,
fuck off. Fuck off.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking fall and break my neck in here because I got these boat shoes on because we just kind of stopped spontaneously. But we go through and it's fine. It's like I take it really slow. I'm not like being super cavalier about it. And we get through, However, I'm a tall guy, and I hit my head once, and then I hit my head twice, and then around the point that I hit my head a third time, I started to get a little stir crazy. I started to get a little like, I'm done with this.
I can't believe this.
I got punchy because I had hit my head 3 times on the top on rocks, and I started to get really over it because of this. I was having a good time before that, and I hit my head 3 times, and I was getting a little stressed out. I was like, I want to get out of this cave. And then we get to what I think is the end, and we get to this clearing. We get to these caves, and there's this straight up wall, a wall straight up, like maybe 35-ish feet in the air. There's a hole that leads out of the cave. There's like sunlight punching through this hole, and there are people that are climbing up. There's these 2 people, and they're climbing up the side of this wall. They're scaling the wall because there's like handholds. And I thought that was how you had to get out of the cave. And I had a full-on panic attack. I had a panic attack because I was already like really over this, and I was like, I cannot climb out of this I cannot scale this wall. And I had a panic attack. It turned out that you had to just go a little bit further, and then there was just stairs that went out, and those people were just. That's such
a fucking shitty move, though. That's like, we're gonna freak these motherfuckers out. We're gonna make them think they have to climb out of this bitch.
Yeah, and those people were just doing it. They just wanted to do it. But yeah, I love caves. We went through the Fantastic Caverns, which is when you go on a guided tour in like a little mine cart, and we brought our dog Jack, which. You met him. You met Jack. He's passed away. But we brought him, and he was like allowed to go on the thing, and he was like in the cart with us or whatever. So yeah, caves are fun.
Yeah.
The other thing though is like, I just find it very fascinating, this idea, and we're getting into this story, but like, it's just very fascinating, this idea of like these natural features of the earth that people are like seizing control over and then like monetizing. Yeah. There's just this big hole in the ground, and then somebody's like, oh, we can
make somebody pay to look at it.
Pay to go into this hole.
Yeah.
And then
it sounds crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, and then there's like all these like there's like at least at one point, not necessarily much anymore, as you know, because we have Netflix now, but there was a time when this was like a cottage industry, these tourist traps where you're just like, hurry, step right up and go into this fucking hole. And like people were just like, let me into that hole, because
I gotta know.
We don't got much out here. We don't got much going on.
We don't got much. We don't got TV. We don't got the internet. You got a hole? Sounds great.
We got like bear baiting and fucking pie eating contests.
Yeah.
So people were going to these holes, and then people were making a bunch of money off of people just going into these holes. And then there was like a bunch of them, and then there were people that were fighting, and they were like, "No, my hole is better than their hole." Like that's very funny.
It's really funny. This sounds like an idea that you would get like a Will Ferrell mid-2000s comedy script out of.
Yeah.
You know?
Go into my hole. Their hole is shallower than our hole. And also, there's a stinky guy in there.
Long before tourists arrived, indigenous peoples had been exploring the caves for thousands of years, all while not building a business around it. But when white settlers, quote, discovered Mammoth Caves in the late 1790s, the site quickly shifted into private hands and entered the capitalist fold. By the War of 1812, it wasn't a tourist attraction, it was a mine. Saltpeter, a key ingredient in gunpowder, was extracted from its walls, feeding America's war effort. When the war ended and the market collapsed, the owners turned to something new: tourism. The first guests came out of curiosity, lured by word-of-mouth tales of its vast chambers and eerie beauty. The early tours were long, dry treks through massive underground halls, often led by enslaved guides like Stephen Bishop, who famously crossed the bottomless pit and opened up access to the underground rivers. Bishop explored miles of unmapped caves, memorizing every twist and turn, and then drew detailed maps from memory. Maps so accurate, they remained useful for decades and cemented his reputation as one of the greatest explorers of his era. The Mammoth Caves were initially bought by John Croghan, the son of William Croghan and Lucy Clark. Lucy was the sister of William Clark, the titular Clark in Lewis and Clark.
That was like weirdly common back in the day. Like we talk about like now as being this time that like mines celebrity, and just strip mines culture with celebrity, and I think to a certain degree it is much more profound than it was before. But there's a surprising number of like things like this where like somebody will just start an entire business enterprise off of the fact that they are like the brother-in-law of a famous person, and like the name has this like clout to it in a way that's almost more like pronounced than like a name's clout has now.
Yeah, like now we live in the Jim Belushi-ification of the world, but then it was like fame didn't exist in the same way. It was like the president and a bunch of the rest of us. And so when there was a Wild Bill Hickok or something like that, it's like really an anomaly that he was able to market himself and become globally recognized.
Yeah, and there was a stratosphere of people in like somehow connected to him in whatever like tangential way that like actually gave them like almost like a there was almost like a caste system based on just almost like a British hierarchy style system where if you just were somehow related to this person or connected to this person, you had clout in a way. The story that I mentioned that I'm working on for my own YouTube channel about the World's Fair, the way that fair was created was.
You didn't mention that on this episode.
Well, I mentioned on the last episode, but the way that the 1939 World's Fair. I'm doing a video for it for my YouTube channel, and the way that was created, it was originally started by this guy who had the idea to do this, and then he met a guy who was the brother-in-law of Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
The brother-in-law.
Yeah, and he literally was just like, "Oh, I have the idea. I can like help. I can execute this, and you just go around and like get investors." And like literally that was his job, was like I'm a Roosevelt. I'm a Roosevelt. You want to give us money for this project? Like that was his whole role, was like I'm the brother-in-law of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Give us money.
You kind of got to respect it though, right? Like you're playing the system.
Yeah. But it's just crazy that like I don't even think that would fly now. Like I don't think anyone's going around being like,
you'd be Fire
I'm
Island,
Joe Rogan's third cousin. Like, give me money. Like, that's not working.
John Croghan had bought the 2,000-acre land back in 1839, with the original intent being he wanted the Mammoth Caves to work as the center for patients with tuberculosis, in addition to being a tourist trap. The idea being the cave's steady climate would ease the symptoms of what was lovingly referred to as White Death. Only patients with the disease were consistently coughing, which reverberated throughout the cave system. There was also the fact that those living in the caves hunt for treasure were lighting fires to cook and warm themselves, so smoke was filling up the cave system, and the tourists were repeatedly getting sickly, pale, emaciated figures wandering into the caves. That is so crazy as an idea that you would just be like, we're going to take these sickies, put them down in the caves, and then also charge people money to go look at the caves and just not pay attention to the sickies.
Yeah, I mean that's a profound example of like using all of the buffalo. Like
100%.
We're gonna stick a bunch, because back in the day, kind of similar to leprosy, like they were just like, we have all these like sick people, let's just like put them in a hole somewhere.
Literally out of sight, out of mind.
But if we're gonna have these guys in the hole, we might as well like get some other people to pay money to go into the hole and like look around in the hole.
Getting to Mammoth Cave in the mid-19th century was not easy. Before the train reached Cave City in the 1880s, you had to endure a bone-rattling stagecoach journey through rural Kentucky.
White death is what I call it whenever I eat food that you've cooked for me. It's the food poisoning I get after I've eaten your cooking.
Getting to Mammoth Cave in the mid-19th century was not easy. Before the train reached Cave City in the 1880s, you had to endure bone-rattling stagecoach journeys through rural Kentucky. The cave was...
I can't believe you're so intent on just getting through this that you're not even gonna go off about how you brought me like a burrito this morning. You're just gonna let that fly. Like I bait you like that, and you're just gonna let it fly.
Yes, Andrew, because I'm a good friend, and I don't need to stoop to your level. I am aware of what I've done.
I was insinuating that you don't put seasonings on your food because you're a white man.
Yes, and also insulting me, despite me going above and beyond for you repeatedly. Getting to Mammoth Cave in the mid-19th century was not easy. Before the train reached Cave City in the 1880s, you had to endure bone-rattling stagecoach journeys through rural Kentucky. The cave was, as historian David Kem put it,
a resort for the wealthy.
It was a vacation for the elite, the kind of genteel adventure one might brag about back home in Boston or New York.
Do you enjoy being in the caves? Do you enjoy
it? We're going back to this?
Yeah. Look, I mean, we have this. We have this painting, this artist rendering of the cave as they're exploring it.
I like drawing caves. I like the idea of caves. I like cave imagery. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I get in a cave, I'm immediately a little freaked out. I'm like, I'm gonna get fucking trapped in here.
Sounds like you're a Neanderthal in a therapy session right now. I like idea of cave. I like concept of cave. Cave feel suffocating. Are you
catch me in Geico Cavemen The Next Generation, debuting on Peacock this fall.
I mean, there was a real sitcom.
I know there was. That's the joke. And this would be the sequel called The Next Generation.
Yeah. You are like claustrophobic?
I don't know if I would say I'm fully claustrophobic, but I'm just aware.
I mean, it's okay if you are. We're all an all-inclusive show here.
I don't know if I'm like actually claustrophobic, but yeah, I don't like small spaces, and it's more than just like small, wet underground. Like I don't want to be trapped there. Like that's kind of my nightmare.
Small, wet underground. That's my nickname for you. I keep oscillating between like asking you real questions, and then when you give me honest answers, I just turn around and just use them against you.
For local landowners,
I'm not even doing it on purpose. It's just really, it's like I'm following the vibe. I'm just.
Is it the vibe, Andrew? Is it the vibe? Is it? I don't know about that. For local landowners, that contrast was the point. The rocky soil of the ridges wasn't good for farming, but tourism? That could work. If you could find a smaller cave, one with glittering stalactites or stalagmites or other mineral formations, you could offer the tourists a second experience to go along with the Mammoth Cave. By the time of the Civil War, several operations were already running. Diamond Caverns, Indian Cave, 100 Domes Cave. They were smaller, wetter, and flashier than Mammoth, and they turned a hard living into something sustainable. They also planted the seeds of competition that were about to explode. As the 1880s rolled on, it was beginning to come clear the real money wasn't in a pretty side cave. It was in Mammoth itself. If you could find another entrance, one on your own property, you could offer the same famous cave without paying the Mammoth Cave Estate a cent. And all of a sudden, a hole in your backyard is a blank check. Or whatever endless amount of money was around back then.
That's so fascinating that it's like it's not that they own the cave; they just own the land where there's an entrance to the cave.
Yeah.
So if you can just find a different door,
like how many motherfuckers?
It's like if you and I just like started like. We just like started a business that was just Disneyland 2, and it was just like we just made a hole in the wall and then just like charged admission for people to walk into Disneyland through our hole.
Yeah. I love the idea though that motherfuckers were just out there with like trowels and like, you know, post diggers, like trying to find a new entrance. Like I know that the cave we're right above it right now. If we just dig, maybe we can like get in there.
We got to start Disneyland 2.
Disneyland 2, I'm open to it. Which one of us is Walt and which one of us is Ub?
We've already had this conversation.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. One of us has a moral core. And the other one has that mustache. After Stephen Bishop's exploration showed how far the cave system stretched under the hills, the hunt for its back door became an obsession among local rivals and cave owners. The Mammoth Cave estate saw the danger and responded with secrecy. By the late 1880s, guides were forbidden to carry paper, compasses, or surveying equipment inside. No one was going to chart where those passages came near the property lines of others. Still, rumors persisted. Old maps passed hand to hand, hinted at underground routes stretching well beyond the known boundaries. For many, the idea of finding the secret exit wasn't just a business plan, it was a personal quest.
I find stuff like that so fascinating. Like the
arms race of this, you mean?
The arms race of it, and like the little tricks that they tried to use to like protect, because now we play in the realm of like intellectual property where everything's just based on like ownership and copyright and threats of lawsuits or whatever. Like that's how people protect their capital. It's like, oh, I have a trademark on this and I have a copyright on this, and if you do this, you're infringing on this part of our business and we're going to sue you and all these things. Like that's how things are. That's how capital is protected now. But like before, number one, whenever the product wasn't something that was like lived in the realm of copyright and IP, and also before those laws really existed, like the things that people would do to like protect their assets is like very fascinating. Like the thing that they show in The Prestige, which was a real thing, which is having like blind stagehands who would work behind the scenes so that nobody would like see like the secrets of the tricks. Like that was a real thing that magicians actually did. And like this, where they're just like, no one's allowed to like chart the cave so that nobody can get like familiar with like the different routes of it, and like weaponizing like the lack of familiarity with the cave in order to keep people from finding alternate entrances and things like that. Like that's just so fascinating.
Yeah, it feels very theatrical for an area of the country that is not known for that. Like if you told me like motherfuckers in the 1880s in New York were like doing weird stuff and having a, theater war. Yeah, I can buy that. Guys in Kentucky? Okay.
It's like, you better not bring a damn compass in here.
Literally, yeah. Which is fascinating and highly dangerous. It's so crazy.
You better walk into this uncharted cave with no compass or map and walk around endlessly for hours getting turned around until you don't know what side is up. And whenever you come face to face with the missing link that devours you, nobody will ever know where you went.
I love that idea, though. I genuinely do. This is a perfect idea for a weird There Will Be Blood style comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, although we would make that and then we would get lost in the cave and fucking
100%,
and we would really die in real life.
100%.
And then somebody would make like a Blair Witch style documentary about the footage that they find on our skeletons.
Yes, absolutely. Even without a backdoor, a cave's chances at success came down to location. In the stagecoach days, you had to be along the route to Mammoth, or you'd be invisible to tourists. The earliest successful rivals positioned themselves exactly where visitors had to pass, turning curiosity into ticket sales. When the Mammoth Cave Railroad opened in 1886, the rules changed again. Only caves with their own station had a shot. But the arrival of the automobile in the early 20th century changed the map overnight. Now travelers could stop wherever they wanted, and the playing field widened dramatically. Then came the ultimate game changer, the Dixie Highway.
Also things like that, where just like the routes that people take and like, building of roads can like dramatically shift an entire business like overnight and like put certain people out of business overnight, suddenly make things lucrative for another business. Certain industries will collapse just based on like where people are like going to get to where they're trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, you see this all the time in terms of like construction efforts being like somebody gets a tip that like they're building a stadium on X side of town, so a bunch of people buy up a bunch of not valuable real estate and then hold on to it for 3 years. The stadium gets built, gentrification happens, and now all of a sudden they're multimillionaires. Like it's a very strange, and I don't even want to say deeply American, but kind of deeply American form of opportunism. You know, like obviously it happens everywhere, but it feels American to me.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. It, you know, it's like the proverbial gold rush. Like the entire concept of the gold rush is like, definitely not in a good way, but like, the United States is this certain section of North America that was colonized by Great Britain and then gained independence, and then it remained sort of this little sliver in North America, and then somebody was like, there's gold in them thar hills, and there's also people in them thar hills that were already living there before, so we're just gonna take that shit. And then the rapid expansion of the United States outward, and to the point where the United States is the middle chunk of North America that was all kind of like eaten up over the course of between the late 1700s and the mid 1800s, as because people started discovering the gold and crude oil that existed in those areas, and then they were just like, well, we're just gonna take this now.
This was the automobile age's Route 66 before Route 66 existed, a shiny ribbon of road connecting Michigan to Florida, and it ran right through Mammoth Cave's region. Suddenly, hundreds of cars a week were rolling past limestone hills and sinkholes that hid spectacular underground systems. A new wave of cave owners sprang up along every possible road leading to Mammoth, and with more traffic came more creative marketing. By the 1920s, there were more than 20 operating show caves in the region, each trying to carve out a piece of the traffic. These caves competed not just on natural beauty, but on accessibility. A family in a Model T wasn't going to risk a washed-out dirt road or a mile-long hike if there was another cave right off the main highway. Proximity became power. Power brought with it a willingness to bend the rules. Speaking of rules that might need to be bent, like maybe basic kindness and empathy for your fellow humans, Andrew, do you have anything you want to promote on the show tonight? A little talk about, a little interesting thing you might want to...
It's a little bit of a walk. But,
I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be nice to you and be like...
The segue really was truly the friends that we made along the way.
Yeah, much like you and I are friends. Or at least, I like to think so.
I mean, let's not try to rewrite history about the one that is the meaner one. Like
I'm the meaner one?
Like, just because I'm having a little fun. I'm doing a little mussing around here. You're trying to paint me with recency bias as the one. Flashback to clips from the fucking Milli Vanilli episode where the whole thing is you just talking about how I'm the shitty half of Milli Vanilli.
That's not how I remember that.
You remember it as a blank black screen.
I remember it as a loving send-up and a humorous roast of qualities that are endearing as someone who is very close to me.
You sound like Joe Rogan trying to like justify like I'm just a comedian. Like I'm not.
Andrew, do you have anything you want to promote on the show this week during our little halftime here? A little break?
Our little halftime show?
Yeah, a little halftime show.
We're gonna.
Hey, Poppy.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna do this one in Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna do it in Spanish, and then I'm gonna have my alternate side halftime.
You're the
show.
Kid Rock, yeah. Much like you're the Kid Rock of the show. I
don't even know how to be offended by that because I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
You can follow me on social media at Treehouse Detective on all platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever your poison. Whether if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, I put out the same videos. They're short form fact and explainer videos, fun little explainers on interesting facts from pop culture history. But on YouTube, I also put out long form video essays and explainers, 30 to 40 minute topics, which are kind of, just an extension of what we're doing here, just different ones. And it's just me. And you can also read my long-form content and short stories on Substack, substack.treehousedetective.com. I write long-form articles. I recently put out a short story, or the first part of a serialized story, called The Death Lottery, which is about a future society where everybody is immortal. They develop a serum that makes it impossible for anybody to die. And then sort of like what would happen in a society once nobody was able to die. There is a YouTuber who gets very famous, and he calls himself the real life Wolverine, and he dresses up in a Wolverine costume, and he just lets people run up on the street and stab him in the face with katanas, and that's just his whole YouTube channel.
I love it.
You can follow us on social media by going to Instagram, typing searching for Deep Cuts Pod. You can follow us on TikTok at Mystery Treehouse. You can follow us on Facebook, Deep Cuts Podcast. You can join our Facebook group, the Deep Cuts Podcast Facebook group, where we hang out, we talk about the show, we make memes, so on and so forth. You can join our Discord server, bit.ly.com/DeepCutsDiscord, where we also hang out, talk about the show, make memes, play games, so on and so forth. You can also join our Patreon. We have a Patreon. We have a way of supporting everything we do here. There are 3 tiers. I'm not doing this as well as the last time. This one's falling apart a little bit. We have a Patreon, bit.ly/DeepCutsPatreon. And you can back the boys, you can pump the page, and you can get the goods in 3 exciting ways. For $5 a month, you are a junior sleuth. You get ad-free access to the show every week on the Patreon. No ads whatsoever. You get a shout-out in every episode of the show. And you get the knowledge that you are supporting the ongoing exploits of your boys as we make this show every week for free that we've been making for the last 6 years. For $6 a month, you become a Junior Sleuth Plus. You get all of that, plus you get access to our first tier of bonus content, Shallow Cuts, plus you get 10% off of merch drops, plus more stuff that you can find out by going to the link and checking it out. And for $10 a month, you become a Senior Sleuth. You get access to all of that, plus you get access to our second tier of bonus content, Deeper Cuts, plus you get 20% off of merch drops, plus you get a custom shout out in every episode if you want, and you also get access to our monthly live stream episode, plus some more stuff. Check it out. bit.ly/DeepCutsPatreon. Do you have anything to plug, Dave?
I do. I have 2 graphic novels coming out. One is Pumpkinheads, published by Top Shelf, coming-of-age romance comic about punks playing in a band, living in a flop house, wearing pumpkin masks. PUNK''N. Get it? It's a pun. Pumpkinheads. And the other book is they're doing a collection of Halloween Boy. Oni's putting that out in May. 2 books in April and May. So if you like me or like my comics, go pre-order those now.
If you like this. If you like this.
If you like this as well. If you like Watchmen.
If you like this.
If you like Watchmen, you will definitely like my books.
If you like this. The stop motion of the stop motion wonders of the golden age of cinema. If you like a Japanese imported retrospective on the game Earthbound, aka Mother 2, that is much more prose than I was expecting and therefore mostly unreadable. You're probably going to like these books.
Yeah.
So pre-order them.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're in English or whatever language that you primarily speak.
Well, these books are only being put out in English yet. But if you're a publisher of a foreign language publisher, let me know. There is a French edition of Forest Hills put out by Sabotage. That was really cool. I still don't have one of those. They were like, we'll mail you a copy.
Fucking Frenchies.
Je voudrais en bande dessinée, s'il vous plaît.
It's unreliable cheese eaters.
I'm not going to go that far. Anyway, back to the show. Act 2. Enter the Cappers. This is when the competition started to look like something out of a con artist's handbook. Caves with less spectacular features or worse locations needed a way to level out the playing field. And that old adage of, if you can't beat them, lie about them and their proximity to you, came into play. If you can't link your less than spectacular underground puddle to the Mammoth Cave, then the next best thing is to convince tourists that you were, in fact, the Mammoth Cave. Owners began hiring cappers, roadside solicitors, often wearing knockoff uniforms and introducing themselves as official cave guides for the region. Their mission, intercept tourists before they reached the competition. A capper's job was both art and ambush. They might wave a flag or step into the road. Sometimes they'd hop onto the running board of a moving car and start a sales pitch before the driver had time to protest. Stories abounded of cappers claiming Mammoth Cave was closed for cleaning, under government quarantine, or too flooded to enter. Conveniently, they'd then offer directions to a newly discovered section, which was really a rival cave's entrance. Many tourists didn't realize that they were being tricked until after they had paid.
That's so amazing.
It's so great.
That's so like the
That's
fact
so good.
The fact that like they were just lying.
Yeah.
They were just like it wasn't like, oh, you know, like some vague nebulous thing like Coke is better than Pepsi. You know, people taste tested and thought that this was they were just like their shit's broken. Like you can't even go in.
Well, I mean, you know,
there's a gorilla outside of the entrance and it's killing people. Like, you cannot go over there.
I mean, you know what they say, all's fair in love and Kentucky cave wars.
Yeah, all's fair in love and cave. Like they were just like their shit is busted.
Yeah, don't go over there. Those motherfuckers, they don't have working like pathways. You're gonna slip and fall. Like,
everybody who goes into the Mammoth Cave gets put on the Epstein files.
Which probably would have been doubly effective during this point with the rampant anti-Semitism in the country.
Oh yeah, they didn't even have to go that far. There was like, there's some Jews over there.
Yeah, literally.
There's Jews just sitting outside the cave.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go here. You got to go to our shit. Like, we got some like normal people. We got some normal Americans.
The better funded caves built roadside information booths disguised as helpful visitor centers. Signs promised maps, directions, and historical insights. Inside, everything pointed to the cave that had paid for the booth's construction. Names were deliberately confusing. Mammoth Onyx Cave, Great Onyx Cave, and Crystal Onyx Cave. Onyx Caverns. It was an arms race of branding, where misleading names were as valuable as any stalagmite. Some operators genuinely stumbled onto beautiful caverns while digging wells or cleaning land, and others took a more creative approach to discovery. One popular method: buy a patch of land with a sinkhole, then blast it open with dynamite until you have something that looked like a natural cave entrance. Never mind that the, quote, cave was only 30 feet long. Most tourists had never been underground before, and a little creative lighting could make anything look like the underworld.
They were just fake caves.
Fake caves.
They were just
caves.
Blowing holes in the ground and being like, here's the cave.
And then
they were paying money to walk into a little hole in the ground.
And be like, and they're just like, oh, wow, this is what it looks like underground. I don't know any different. So this is what everybody is excited about? Oh, okay.
You know what the modern day version of this is? Like, there is a modern day version. I mean, there's probably many modern day versions of this, like, you know, people using like grifting tactics to like trick you into like paying for things. But what the direct modern day equivalent of this is like those, like, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Have you ever been to Pigeon Forge? Pigeon Forge, Tennessee is this little, or the Wisconsin Dells. Have you been to the Wisconsin Dells? They're like the same thing. They're both like weirdly identical. And so basically, it's this strip of it's like a fake little Las Vegas strip, except for instead of casinos and like live shows and magic shows and like showgirls and stuff like that, it's like tourist trap bullshit for families. And so what it is, it's this like long strip of road where there's all these things that are built in, and it's a bunch of restaurants, and it's a bunch of like in the Wisconsin Dells, there are these things called the Ducks, and there are these like amphibious vehicles, and you get in them and they ride you around in the forest, and then they take you into a lake or whatever. So like there's those things, and then there's all, like I said, there's all these restaurants, but then there's all these just random tourist traps, and it's the same thing in Pigeon Forge. And like half of them in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, are owned by Dolly Parton.
Oh, weird.
Like there's a ripoff of Medieval Times, but it's a pirate version, and it's called Pirate Dinner Adventure. And you go into this place, you sit at these tables, you eat a dinner, and you watch this like pirate show where there's like this big pirate ship, and there's like people jumping around and doing acrobatics and like having sword fights and shit, and like mermaids coming out of the water, and then there's just a sea lion, like a real sea lion that just walks around, and it's owned by Dolly Parton. She owns this restaurant. But sprinkled throughout all of this are just these like buildings that are just like, it's this, where they're like, there's this one place, and they have the exact same thing in Wisconsin Dells and Pigeon Forge, and it's the Upside Down building. And so it's a building, and it's like upside down, and everything in it is supposed to be upside down. And then you go into it, and it's just like lamps on the ceiling. Like you walk into this building, you pay $30, and then there's a lamp on the ceiling. There's a chair on the ceiling. Oh my God, there's a chandelier on the floor. We're in an upside down building. And that's the whole thing.
Is that cool?
No.
It doesn't sound cool.
No, it's this. It's blowing a hole in the ground and saying it's a cave. It's like the outside, the facade of the building looks kind of cool, and it looks like you're going to go into this cool immersive experience, and it's going to be like a Disneyland ride or whatever. And then you go inside, you pay money first, and then you go inside, and then it's a lamp on the ceiling.
Amazing.
And there's like a bunch of these things. There's like the upside down one, and then there's like another one that is like, it's like the CIA building, and you go inside, you pay the $30, you go inside, and then it's just like a dummy of Ronald Reagan, and he's just like, "Hello, Americans." And then you like go into another room, and then there's just like a desk, and they're just like, "This is the Oval Office," and it's just like, it's this weird like government themed thing, and it's called like the CIA building. And there's just like 10 of these, and they're all themed after different things. But the unifying factor in all of them is that they are literally nothing. They just are a building, and then somebody like nailed some shit to the wall. And you pay $30, and you don't find out that you've walked into nothing until after you've paid, and there's no refunds.
There's a thing like that. There's a roadside attraction going on the 10 going from California to Arizona. You may have actually seen this. It's called The Thing. Do you know about this?
Yes, I've never been there, but I've
never gone in either. But there's all these ads on the street or on the highway going to The Thing, going to Arizona. Turns out The Thing is just a giant ball of string. Like it's like a 6-foot tall ball of yarn, and that is fucking hilarious. That someone would pay like $20 or whatever, and then be like, "This is it." A fucking ball of yarn? Amazing.
This is the upside down house. So that's the upside down house.
Oh wow.
From the outside, it's like, it looks like a house that's been like taken up out of the ground, and then turned around and like dropped.
Uh-huh.
Like that's what it is. So you see this from the street.
Yeah.
And you go in and you go into this thing. And then Pigeon Forge upside down house inside. I don't even know if they would have pictures from inside, because I feel like
they're probably like proprietary. Like we can't let people see our chairs on the ceiling.
Yeah, and then this is what it is. It's just like there's a There's a chair on the ceiling.
Nah, that ain't it. Nah, that ain't it. Nah. There are stories, unconfirmed but hilarious, of caves being padded with, quote, borrowed formations. Stalagmites were reportedly dragged from other caverns and cemented into place like set pieces on a movie lot. One operator allegedly created crystal walls by pressing crushed glass into wet plaster, selling the effect that the sparkling wonder that had never been seen by human eyes before. It was part geology, part theater, and all-out fraud. I love this. I love this so much because it is so charmingly underhanded. Like, it's so innocent in its duplicitousness.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, when you get duped, you just gotta be like, I gotta hand it to them. They got me. They earned the money.
And it's so charming that, like, these guys don't have access to money, and there's no way to make money out in the boonies. So they're like, what if I just broke a bunch of fucking beer bottles and, like, made an art project where I, like, put all the beer bottles into the mud, and then humans would come and look at it and, like, think that it's like crystals or whatever. Like, with the right spin, it's actually, like, awesome. And then it's also, like, lying. It's just purely lying.
Yeah, but it's done in such a way where, like, at least for me, like, you can't even be mad.
No.
You just, like, you got to be impressed. You got to be like, yeah, you totally swindled me, and this is bullshit, but, like, you got me, baby. Like,
yeah.
you earned it.
You earned it.
Like, you don't feel deceived. You feel like they earned the money by tricking you.
Yep, 100%. The Cave Wars really escalated in 1915 when George Morrison entered the scene. A struggling oil man from Louisville, Morrison was looking for a more reliable fortune. The oil wells weren't paying out, but the steady stream of tourists to cave country suggested an untapped opportunity. Morrison had no interest in operating a small-time side cave. His eyes were on Mammoth itself. Within 6 years, he executed a plan that was part daring heist, part real estate coup. He allegedly bribed a Mammoth Cave guide to gain after-hours access, keys and all. Once inside, he explored the remotest passages until he identified a point where the cave ran close to the surface on land that he could potentially buy. He quietly acquired a parcel along Cave City Road with the precision of a man who knew exactly where he was going to dig. He blasted open a new cave entrance. In 1922, he unveiled, quote, the new entrance to Mammoth Cave, advertising it as a fresh way to experience the wonder and siphoned tourists directly from its original attraction.
2010s era HBO limited series.
100%. 100%. Paul Giamatti is George Markstein. Wait, what is that his name? What's his name? George what? Morrison. George Morrison. Paul Giamatti is George Morrison. 100%. He's winning an Emmy for this. Like, I can already see the intro credits where it's like slow, like Game of Thrones or The Crown style, like ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. And like it's like a map of a cave where like the ink of the cave is like is like rippling out, like it's like filling in 100%
on like a blueprint.
And the camera's always descending down, and as it's descending down, it's like money and gold coins and stalagmites and the characters' faces and like hands reaching up. Yeah. Like this show was made and then has been just excised from the popular consciousness.
Yeah, we got Mandela out of this shit.
We really did. Yeah, I was really upset when Paul Giamatti didn't win that Emmy the first year he was nominated. I know they gave it to him during season 3 because they felt they had to, because he had that one episode where he went to court and he was like screaming and crying, and like, you know, Paul Giamatti like threw out his back shooting that. But like, man,
they had to do a whole like for your consideration campaign about him throwing out his back, and that was what finally clinched it for him.
Yeah,
but like he deserved it from like episode 1.
Dude, for real. Like, are you kidding? He's also just like such an amazingly well written character. Like George Morrison, he's an oil magnate, but he's got a heart of gold. But he's also a little shady, you know?
Yeah.
He's honestly, I feel like peak TV died when, 'cause, like, you know, George Morrison, he's an oil magnate, but he's also a little shady, you know? Yeah. Honestly, I feel like peak TV died when, 'cause, like, you know, George Morrison, he's an oil magnate, but he's also a little shady, you know? Yeah. Honestly, I feel like peak TV died when The Blackness of the Cave? Carson Cave? What is the name of this show? It's just Cave. It's just The Cave.
There's gold in them thar hills, but I don't give a fuck about that. I want the entrance.
Yeah, exactly. A lawsuit followed over his use of the name Mammoth Cave, but while the courts debated, Morrison fought his war on the roads, deploying cappers and billboards to redirect traffic to his newfound empire.
You think this is about caves? This is about the soul of the country.
I was about to say this is about America. It's the same idea. 100%. I've seen that monologue like 50 times. Yes, that's exactly what this is. By the 1920s, the fight for tourist dollars descended from marketing trickery into outright sabotage. Cave owners and their new crews took to the roads and woods under the cover of night, waging guerrilla warfare campaign against each other. Access roads were deliberately blocked with fallen trees and boulders. Carefully painted direction signs were stolen, defaced, or swapped out for misleading ones that sent visitors miles off course. Entire roadside booths went up in flames overnight, reduced to ash before dawn patrols found the wreckage.
What is this, son? It's a blueprint. No, you silly son of a bitch. It's a ticket to the future.
Slow motion dolly back from a roadside attraction sign engulfed in flames, with one guy standing in front of it completely backlit in a silhouette as the crescendoing score rises.
I mean, this shit is just insane in the best way. This is they're setting booths on fire. Mm-hmm. They're like making fake maps. Mm-hmm. They're tricking, like, it's so great.
It's so good.
So great.
It's so good.
I'm really glad this is coming across in this episode, because like when I wanted to do the episode, I was like, it's great, but I don't know, without like videos or images or really like, I don't know if this is gonna sell. But I'm really glad that the appeal of this is coming across, because it's so great.
I need a, if we're not going to get this prestige Paul Giamatti Emmy-winning vehicle, I need like a Jason Aaron, R.M. Guerra, Vertigo ongoing that lasts like 60 issues. That's all about this. You know what I mean? And it needs to be one of those things where like it was obviously intended to get a TV show off the ground, and then the political capital ran out, but the book is so good that no one cancels it and it just keeps going.
Cave. Dude,
have you seen the most recent episode of Cave? Shit was fucked up.
We could bring back the water cooler moment.
For real. That's how you pitch it. That's like the last line when you're pitching to Steven Spielberg. You're like, they say peak TV is dead, but what they don't understand is that the water cooler moment is about to return, and it's hidden in the cave.
And you pitch it in a cave. You take them into a cave
to pitch it,
and then and then it's on like a whiteboard in the middle of the cave.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Some owners put a price on destruction itself: $2 for tearing down a competitor's sign, $10 for burning down their booth. The hostility sometimes flared into outright violence. In 1921, a confrontation between employees of two competing caves ended in gunfire, leaving one man dead. No one was convicted, and the incident only deepened the atmosphere of lawless competition.
What happens in Cave Town stays in Cave Town. Nobody owns these caves. Not the law, not the heart of man, not even me. These caves, they belong to the void.
This was capitalism stripped of pretense, a free-for-all where the beauty of underground cathedrals of stone was overshadowed by the scorched-earth tactics of above-ground warfare. It wasn't just a tourism industry anymore. It was a turf war fought with dynamite, deception, and desperation. In 1925, the Cave Wars were thrust onto the national stage by a tragedy that played out in real time for the first time in American media history. Floyd Collins, a seasoned caver with a family that owned a struggling Great Crystal Cave operation, was desperate to find a discovery that could save his business. His sights turned to Sand Cave, a narrow, unexplored system he believed could be developed into a major attraction. Andrew, you want to describe Mr. Floyd Collins here?
I mean, Floyd Collins looks like he just got out of the cave after being lost in there for like 30 days and 30 nights.
Yeah. I mean, I would describe him as he has the aesthetic that is a hybrid of every like every rum runner or like bank robber in the Great Depression era, like Bonnie and Clyde style guy on the run, mixed with a quintessential Americana, like Grapes of Wrath style farmer aesthetic. Like he's got the sunken eyes of a man who knows true sorrow, but the haircut and suit of somebody who's just a little bit on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd Collins looks like he is on the CIA's payroll, but the documents proving it were burned in a giant fire in the 1940s.
100%. On January 30th, Collins wriggled into an uncharted passage, lantern in hand. A rock slab shifted and trapped his leg. The space was so tight, rescuers could only reach him one at a time, laying flat on their stomachs. Supplies, food, blankets, even being fed had to be passed one hand at a time. These are some of the day newspaper clippings. Slight hope held to save Collins is one headline. Collins buried in death trap is another. Days passed. Then weeks. Radio broadcasts delivered constant updates, turning the rescuing into a national obsession. Reporters flooded the area, their stories competing for front-page headlines. Crowds swelled to the tens of thousands, and the rescue site transformed into a bizarre carnival. Vendors hawked hot dogs, souvenir programs, and postcards. Bands played. People came, not just in the hopes that Collins would be rescued, but to witness history.
He's just stuck down there in this cave, and he just hears somebody like, Are they
partying up there?
is there a band performing? Are they doing Lollapalooza up there?
Burning in my skin. Is that Lincoln Park?
Is this early 2000s era Lincoln Park?
What's going on?
Is this Lincoln Park in their prime?
And now we get to, unfortunately, a key newspaper headline. You want to read this one, Andrew?
Collins found in cave, dead.
After 18 days underground, Collins died where he lay, still pinned. His death became both a cautionary tale and a grim emblem of the region's relentless, sometimes deadly pursuit of tourist dollars. The macabre took center stage in 1927 when the new owners of Crystal Cave struck a deal with the Collins family to exhume Collins's remains. His body, placed in a glass-topped coffin inside the cave, became part of the tour. Visitors gawked at the man whose doomed rescue they'd read about in the papers only 2 years earlier.
That is pure grade A, top choice, uncut capitalism.
It's amazing.
It's Wagyu.
It's Wagyu.
It's aged Wagyu capitalism.
Yep.
They're just like, there's a guy. He in his relentless and obsessive pursuit to carve out a space for himself in the capitalistic land grab, he ventures into a cave by himself. He gets trapped. He dies in the cave, and then they pave a new business venture literally over his body. They're just like, no, he's part of it now. Like, come, hurry, step right up. See the guy who died trying to fucking hurry, step right up you. Like, damn.
Yeah, this guy got extra'd so hard that he became the like living.
He read all about his fucking death.
Yeah, for
and
real.
everyone else did. Like,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, part of it is like crushingly depressing, and part of it kind of cool.
It's kind of great.
Yeah,
It's horrible. It's horrible, but it's kind of great.
Yeah.
It feels akin to the Shaw brothers making a movie to extract the last little bit of money from Bruce Lee's death and like going to his wake and like filming the casket to claim that they had like the final Bruce Lee performance. Except that wasn't like condoned by the family, and at least this family got paid 2 nickels or whatever. It's bleak both ways, but like it's so fascinating each time. You're just like, what? How can they do this?
Yeah, or just like, Ed Wood using the extra pieces of footage of Bela Lugosi before he died. Yeah, just like
I feel like it's a little different when it's the actual corpse, but yes,
just the callousness of it,
totally.
the weird like existential zero-sum game of like, we might as well, like, we already have it.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta finish it. It's what he would have wanted or whatever.
Yeah. It was tasteless. It was exploitative. It was profitable. Tickets rose through the roof. For years, the coffin remained a grim waypoint for tourists, school groups, honeymooners, curiosity seekers. They all filed past in one of history's first examples of misery tourism. Some came out of genuine interest in Colin's story. Others came for the shock. In the fierce world of cave country tourism, even death could be commodified. By the 1930s, the cave wars had exhausted the region. A growing conservation movement pushed for Mammoth Cave to be turned into a national park, ending the destructive cycle of competition. The idea promised preservation, but at a steep cost. To create the park, the government had to acquire vast swaths of land, often through forced sales. Families were uprooted, farms abandoned, homes razed. Many of those displaced had spent decades building livelihoods around the caves, only to watch them shudder under federal control. In 1941, Mammoth Cave National Park was officially established. Most private caves closed, unable to match the marketing power of a federally run wonder. A few, like Diamond Caverns, managed to survive, adapting to life alongside the park's dominance. By the 1960s, the cappers were gone. The booths decayed. Signs faded under ivy and rust. The rivalries that once consumed cave country slipped into the realm of tall tales. Yet the legacy of the Kentucky Cave Wars endured. In their ruthless drive to outdo one another, local cave operators explored, mapped, and revealed extraordinary underground spaces. Those discoveries still shape the routes of tours offered in Mammoth Cave National Park today. Now, white-tailed deer, wild turkey, and other animals roam the roads where cappers once leapt onto the running boards of moving vehicles. The echoes remain, though, of George Morrison's break-in, Stephen Bishop's fearless mapping, and Floyd Collins' tragic fate. All of it whispering through a cool darkness beneath the Kentucky hills.
Another example of government overreach crushing free market innovation.
I mean, I know you're fucking around, but it is kind of terrifying that eminent domain can just like, oh, what's that? This is a thing that you and generations of your family have been doing? Nah, not anymore. Nah.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's scary.
And it's an example of like how things are sometimes more complicated than they seem, because I think a lot of people view and I, with distance, rightly so, view the nationalization of land and the protection of land as like a objectively good thing. Like it's an objectively good thing to have transformed this area into a national park. Well, objectively good is not necessarily the right.
I know what you mean.
It's a complicatedly good thing to transform this place into a national park, a protected area, rather than this like playground for a bunch of like fucking crazy businessmen to be like launching Looney Tunes-esque like sabotage plans against each other. But then you don't think of the greater implications, the fact, the families that are displaced and things like that. It reminds me of several years ago, there was this guy on TikTok which I haven't seen. He seems like he retired in shame, but he was like a leftist creator who made a lot of videos about politics, obviously, but he specifically talked about like local politics and community actions within small communities, and talked about his neighborhood and the things that they were doing, and coalition building and stuff that was being done on the local level. And at one point he made like a video where he was just like, he was basically, him and some other people, they created their own HOA, because HOAs are like very sort of like maligned by a lot of people. There are these organizations that are built around like policing the who lives in certain neighborhoods and like how they conduct themselves, and they're sort of seen by many people as sort of like a parasite. So basically, like the thinking was like, we're gonna form our own like leftist minded HOA that's like to supplant like a more traditional HOA being installed. And we're gonna have our own HOA, but we're gonna do things the right way, and we're gonna have like progressive policies, and we're gonna do like real community building things with our HOA. And so one of the things that they did was they worked for a long time to push through this this ordinance. They voted on this thing, and they went to like town halls, and they pushed for this ordinance to be put into place, that basically within this area that the HOA controlled or oversaw, that they would no longer allow renting. So they would push out the idea. The simplistic idea was to push out the landlords and make it all family owned housing, and they accomplished it. And the ordinance was passed, and this area of this town was relegated as an area where only families could live in homes that they owned. There could no longer be like property managers like renting out. And they were like, this is a great victory or whatever. And then he made a video a little bit later, and he was just like, we're finding out that now these families that are renting are like, they're being evicted. Like, they have to leave. And did we make the wrong choice here? And everybody in the comments was like, yeah, the fuck are you talking about? You didn't think of this? Yeah. When you spent all this time pushing for this, you didn't think that the families were going to get kicked out of their houses? And everyone was like, what is wrong with you? And then this guy, like, he disappeared. I don't think he made videos anymore after that. But like, it's like things like that. You just don't think about the greater implications of these things. Nothing's ever quite as simple as whatever the shiny little social media summary of it is.
I mean, I love this story. You can just feel the texture and the grit and the weirdness and the idiosyncrasies of all these people. You can also feel the type of geographic location informs the story. They say Albuquerque really is a character in Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? Like that type shit. But you can feel it in here in terms of this kind of like really great, strange, carny Appalachian aesthetic. Like, it's so cool. And also burning signs, repainting signs to send people the wrong way. Like, it's so great.
Yeah. And it's like naked profit seeking opportunism in a way that, for better or worse, I just kind of love.
Yeah.
Like, it just feels so much, it feels so much better than what we kind of seem to live in now, where, it's like they were doing real things that were accumulating into real strategic results that were enriching themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas like now it just feels like everything's like hidden behind like 3 layers of malaise of like government bailouts and like inflated stock prices and like hypothetical money, like all these things that are all these companies and corporations that are like too big to fail, or it doesn't feel like they're really doing anything other than, like real estate companies that inflate the price of housing, speaking of housing, by just like not selling houses, by just keeping them empty. And it's like these guys were just like, they were out there like executing like fucking like CIA style operations.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we just got to burn down this thing, and we got to go out there. We got to hire these people to stand out here. We got to make this fake map, and at the end of the week, we got 5,000 extra smackaroonies, baby. Like there's something. It shouldn't be glorified, but it's like.
But it's fucking amazing.
It feels really good. It feels cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's a component to this story.
It makes
also.
me want to get out there and just start grifting.
I was just gonna say that. Where I was gonna say, I feel like there's a component to this story that, like, it feels deeply American to be a grifter, you know? And like this story this story is like a funny, like harmless, but also with just enough edge to make it not saccharine version of that. Like the fact that all these people are fighting over a hole in the ground is hilarious.
Yeah. And again, it's like, aside from the sort of like the genesis implications of, you know, extricating these lands from their native peoples and like,
of course,
privatizing them and utilizing
and using
them.
Literal slave labor to map the thing. Like it's horrible.
Aside from the sort of like the early origins of it, like just in terms of like once that's already been done and it's like several generations down the line, it's just like it's that meme of Ken Watanabe, like let them fight.
Yeah,
they're just tricking a bunch of people into going into holes. Like let them do it. There's no harm here.
Yep.
Let it happen, baby. Let it happen.
I mean, honestly, you summed it up. That's my final thought. Let it happen. Do you have any final thoughts?
I want to bring it back. I mean,
we should like have our own, like, we should make a hole in the ground and charge people.
Yeah, we got to anticipate the time. I mean, number one, Disneyland 2 is like,
Disneyland 2 is a great idea.
We got to do that. But we got to like anticipate a time whenever the oversaturation of social media and AI generated slop content like pushes people back outside and people start seeking, you know, more physical connections with the world. They start seeking older forms of entertainment. We gotta anticipate that, and we gotta be the new cave grifters.
I mean, honestly, we should team up with that girl on TikTok who's like burrowing underneath her house.
Yeah, we got to get a stake in that.
Yeah,
we got to work out a business plan. Like, all right, once you jump at this cave, we're gonna charge this amount for people to visit. Yeah. We're gonna charge this amount for you to personally take them on a guided tour. We're gonna charge this amount for them to be able to actually like help you dig out some of the shale in this cave here.
100%.
And for the founders package for $100,000. We'll let you just get fucking buried alive in here, and
we'll put you in a glass case.
Yeah, and you will become a part of the attraction.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, I'm Dave Baker.
I'm Andrew Price.
This has been Deep Cuts. If you'd like to find me on the internet, you can do so at heydavebaker.com. Please go pick up my book, Pumpkinheads, or Halloween Boy, local comic book stores, online. Andrew, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on social media by searching at Treehouse Detective on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. I make short form fact and explainer videos about interesting stories from pop culture and history. I also make long form videos on my YouTube channel. You can check those out. I have long form writing and prose writing, fiction writing on my Substack, treehousedetective.substack.com. I have a recent story that I published, which is the first part of a serialized story called The Death Lottery, which is about a future society where everybody has been made immortal, and sort of like the societal implications of what would happen if nobody on the planet could die anymore. You can also follow us on social media by going to Instagram, searching Deep Cuts Pod, searching Deep Cuts Podcast on Facebook. You can join our Facebook group, the Deep Cuts Podcast Facebook group, where we talk about the show, we make memes, we hang out. You can also join our Discord server, bit.ly.com/deepcutsdiscord. We hang out there, we talk about the show, we play games, there's a cool little community, so on and so forth. You can follow us on TikTok at Mystery Treehouse. You can follow us on YouTube by searching youtube.com/@mysterytreehouse, where we make long form video essay and explainer videos. And you can also support us on Patreon. back the boys, pump the page, get the goods in 3 exciting ways. There's 3 tiers for $5 a month, $6 a month, and $10 a month. You get access to a bunch of perks. You can check them out by going to bit.ly/DeepCuts Patreon. There's a ton of cool ways to support the page and also get some cool bonus content and stuff like that. And also you get a shout out in every show, which is what we're going to do right this second.
Fuck yeah, let's fucking do it!
The first thing we're going to do is real quick, we're going to read one of our custom messages. If you are a senior sleuth and you are paying $10 a month, you get a custom message of your choice on the show. And this one is from Baked Beans Garage. And this one is one of the few people who have taken advantage of our offer to allow them to plug their own thing.
Oh, nice.
On the show.
Nice.
Which we're happy to do. I've been excited to get to this one because Baked Beans Garage is a very nice individual. I've spoken with them through Patreon. Very nice person. And they have their own YouTube channel, which is like a car restoration page. And they want us to plug it, which, again, we're happy to do. Let me find this little message here. They didn't have a specific thing to say. They just want us to plug their YouTube channel. It's called Baked Beans Garage. It's like a car channel. It's like car stuff. I don't know anything about cars. My dad was among many other things, was a race car mechanic. But also my dad didn't care about me, so he did not ever impart his knowledge on me. So I don't know anything about cars. I taught myself how to change my serpentine belt, and I taught myself how to change spark plugs and change an oil filter. And I once...
every time you stood up from the car and said, "Fuck you, Dad."
Yes. And I also taught myself and worked with a friend of mine to completely replace the entire clutch system in my car once. I probably couldn't do it again if you asked me to do it, but that's about the extent of my car knowledge. But at any rate, check out Baked Beans Garage.
Hell yeah, Baked Beans Garage. Eric with an H.
Troy McClure.
Matt Kiley.
Simon Miller.
Krista Deemer.
Brock McDonald.
Jonathan Usry. Usry? Usry?
Usry. That's what I usually say.
Jonathan Usry.
David Hedgecock.
Vilmontis Steris.
Hugo Del Aguila.
Tristan, not your brother.
Sleep Drifter.
Baked Beans Garage.
Liz Banks.
Ryan Logan.
Justin Wood.
Chic Vulgaris.
David Cartwright.
Ducky P.
Emily Black.
Eddie.
Phi Jinda.
Matthew Polito.
Shannon Talty.
Asbestos.
Brad Manier.
Chesty Rednuts.
The Great Sea Moose.
Michael B. Miller.
Psygeek.
3 Raccoons in a Trench Coat.
Mitchell Kilmer.
Jack Stratton.
J.H.
Michael Lindquist.
Your Vanilla B.
Robert Williams.
Andrew C. Rempt.
Amber motherfucking Tyndall.
Deep Cuts out!